Try to come with that ghetto stuff over here and see what happens. You won't get nowhere. See what happens. And all them dudes over there that's talking this ghetto stuff, they could never get over here, ever. And I've been here in the game, and I'm still here now out of the game.
Our new drug czar, Robert Hudson Wakefield.
I said, well, I went over to talk to police to make sure you were safe and make sure nothing got out of hand. I've said this before. 1 billion people can beat me at being small.
Don't drag a name of one of our brothers.
Wait, don't do that, bro. I asked you a question.
But you can't beat me at being big.
Street Czar.
I know the term street czar is quite provocative. So a street czar is a person that has a particular genius in a particular area.
I'll lose every day in being small. You can beat me at being small, but you'll never beat me at being big. It won't happen. Because I said, I'm gonna make my legacy too.
The activist is now on the city payroll. He's been hired as a so-called street czar.
He signed their portion of a contract for $150,000 a year to Taylor's organization, not this time.
Remember these daily fires a long time ago. I told you that my father, when I was growing up, he used to always tell me, son, you got to bring the game. And I'm like, what? And you got to bring the game. So always in the back of my mind, when a situation comes that I could get emotional, boom, in the back of my head, my father's telling me, rest in peace, Dad, you got to bring the game, son. I love it. It's like an instant in my mind. But it's because we have been minimized, thank you, Kevin, into carnal beings, carnal thinking, everything carnal. You know what carnal is? Natural, lasciviousness, sex, drugs, the seeking of pleasure, which is hedonism, pursuing money. All these carnal things that the system governed by spiritual wickedness in high places and the rulers of darkness in this world promotes to us so that we will never get to the realm to offset that principality. So we'll never get to that realm to shut them down. The scripture says in 2 Corinthians 18, I chose the despised of the world, those that are weak to overcome those that are strong. He talking about people like me. God said he chose those that are despised to overcome the strong, those that are weak, those ones, to overcome them. He talking about me and you. And you think because that principality is selling you weakness and you're powerless because you're operating on his playing field with that thought process. But I'm powerful because I'm yielded. You seem to be in power and you can continue to create laws that you have violated for hundreds of years. So no, my people are not the bad people. Those people hustling on the streets are not the bad people. They are people that have been disenfranchised through your laws and your system, and particularly your laws that have made it impossible for them to get the American dream. We have bad schools and the rest of it, you know. So let me just make that clear. I'm talking to my people because I love them, not because I'm judging them, because I understand where they are and I understand why they have to be where they are to try to get out of where they are. And whatever you think they are, I don't care about that. So let me explain something to you about right and wrong. There was a man by the name of Apostle Paul. He was a religious man of the day. Apostle Paul was not only a religious man, but he was a very educated man. But he became one of the greatest apostles through the greatest of tragedy. Apostle Paul got letters from the Sanhedrin, which is the political power structure of that day, to go and kill Christians because he believed that they were speaking against the things of God, according to how he believed it. This man, Apostle Paul, went to kill Christians and families and babies and everything. That's right. But let me explain something to you. He met the Most High on the road to Damascus, and the Most High struck him blind, right? And said, Paul, Paul, what are you doing? for it's hard for you to kick against the pricks. In other words, the thing that you think you're doing right is directly against me. He told him to go to Ananias and go get his sight. Ananias was a righteous man, so he went to Ananias, and Ananias knew who he was. And he questioned God. He said, well, wait a minute, God. Ain't this the dude that was killing babies and families? And you telling me to go pray for him? And God rebuked him and said, go thy way, for this man is a chosen vessel unto me, and became the greatest apostle of all of them. I've never killed nobody, but Moses killed somebody. Paul killed people, had them killed, and God still chose them. All I'm saying to you is be careful how you exit yourself out from the Most High, because he do not think like man thinketh, nor does he see like man sees. For man looks on the outward. You start acting beneath a man by your reaction to that pettiness. You are disconnected from what you're supposed to be first. So of course you can't go to her and govern over there and sway over there and have authority over there, because you've never elevated dominion in your life. As a matter of fact, you've given dominion away. You gave no credence to your position as a man having dominion. You know nothing about it. You are not exercising it. You are not seasoned in what it means. And you have no idea how valuable the position of dominion is in your life, that only the Most High can place you as a man there. You denigrated the greatest thing that was given to you as a man. Now you expect to have influence over your war man? Never. Every time an opportunity comes, you lose because you go into reaction mode instead of game mode, instead of response mode. You ain't waiting for your opportunity. You losing them every single time because you in your feelings, like the average man has to be. Because it is unnatural for a person not to be moved. It takes giants not to be moved. I'm not about to get in an emotional spat with a person that's jealous.
It got so heated, protesters surrounded Taylor and demanded he leave.
Saying that
Why? You good at being jealous. I ain't no good at that. You gonna beat me every time. All that small and jealous stuff, you gonna beat me every time. You think I'm gonna get in a confrontation with a fella that's emotional and that's jealous? That ain't gonna happen. When I'm dealing with police officers and the system and whatever insult they try to throw at me, it's so small to me because I've already been tested, man. Because I know, let me say this, because people say, well, if Dre had some new girls in here, a lot of people's gonna come. Listen, don't worry about who's coming and who's not. Be blessed that if you've had some consistency, that you can take this information and shoot out before people. You'll be 1,000,000 miles away down the road with the information, operating in it, conquering everything in your life. If people don't get it, they ain't supposed to get it. This is a remnant. My value is in the remnant. I'm not into numbers, just like God's not into numbers. But this remnant that comes and get this information, it's for you. Change your life and change the world with me. You ain't got to carry that. That's over. You might not never experience that again in your life. But some of you will stoop to that, and then that becomes a disruption in your whole life. Wrong move. You didn't bring the game. I'm going to bring the game every single time.